Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today doing a Master Duel Dragonmaid deck profile. So I'm really excited to speak guys because this deck is a super fun deck to be able to play in Master Duel, and the really cool thing about this deck is it actually has a structure deck in Master Duel that you can pick up the majority of the cards in, which makes this deck a really budget option. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name script in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Chamber Dragonmaid. Chamber Dragonmaid is a great 3 of in the deck, because if this card is normal or special summon, then you can add a Dragonmaid spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And at the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon a level 7 or higher Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard, which the majority of your Dragonmaids actually share that ability, that they can tag themselves out during the battle phase to be able to summon out a dragon form, which is really awesome to help you go in for game. Now this card's unique effect is if this card is normal or special summon, that you get to add a Dragonmaid spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which the majority of the time you're going to be either adding the fusion spell Changeover or a really powerful trap card, Dragonmaid Tidying, which is just a really cool card to be able to grab with your copy of Chamber Dragonmaid. We're then playing 3 copies of Parlor Dragonmaid. Parlor Dragonmaid is a great 3 of in the deck because its unique ability is if this card is normal or special summon, then you can send a Dragonmaid card from your deck to the graveyard, basically being a walking Foolish Burial, which is a great effect to be able to send the exact card you need to the graveyard when you need it. Now this card has a unique ability also that it tags itself out to summon out during the battle phase specifically a level 8 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. We then play just a single copy of Kitchen Dragonmaid. Kitchen Dragonmaid has the ability that if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a Dragonmaid monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and then send a Dragonmaid monster from your hand to the graveyard, almost working like a Foolish Burial, which is a really awesome thing. Now this card, it shares the same effect as your Parlor, that it can tag itself into a level 8 Dragonmaid monster at the beginning of the battle phase. I then play just a single copy of Dragonmaid Nurse. Dragonmaid Nurse is like a walking monster reborn, that if this card is normal or special summon, you get to target a level 4 lower Dragonmaid monster in your graveyard and special summon it to the field, which is a great effect just to be able to get a bunch of your Dragonmaid monsters on the field to help you go in for game. And this card specifically has to tag out into a copy of a level 7 Dragonmaid monster, which is kind of interesting because we actually do play Ernest, which is her Dragonmaid form. We then play a single copy of Dragonmaid Tenarch. Tenarch is basically a hand trap for the deck that is also a really good boss monster with a super awesome effect that it cannot be destroyed by card effects while you control a fusion monster, which is usually going to be your Dragonmaid boss monster. It also has the ability that quick effect, you can discard this card and then target a Dragonmaid monster that you control, and it gains 2000 attack until the end of this turn, which is a great effect to be able to boost up your monsters to some really big numbers. It also has the ability that at the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon a level 3 Dragonmaid monster from your hand, which is a really good effect that at the end of the battle phase, your maids turn back from dragons into maids, which is really cool, because if you haven't summoned them this turn, their effects will go off, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Lupar. Lupar is just a good 1 of in the deck overall. Its unique ability is that you can discard this card and then target one face-up monster on the field, and players cannot activate that target's effects on the field this turn, which is a pretty good effect. And it also tags itself out at the end of the battle phase back into a level 3 Dragonmaid. I then play a single copy of Dragonmaid Ernest. Ernest is a good 1 of in the deck that has the ability quick effect, discard this card to special summon out a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand. And this deck is very dependent on its normal summon. So this card comes in extremely handy in the deck to be able to just discard this card to the graveyard, which is going to make it still live with all of your Dragonmaid monsters, to then be able to get an additional Dragonmaid on your side of the field, because you're very dependent on the normal summon in this deck. So this card can help you out a lot just to be able to get you an additional monster on the field. I then play 2 copies of Rocket Tracer Dragon, which is a very helpful card in the deck with the quick launch package that we're playing in the deck to just get us into some really awesome link monsters, but this card comes in extremely handy to help us go into all sorts of different plays. I then play a single copy of Rocket Caliber Dragon. Rocket Caliber Dragon is a good one-of as well in the deck because it has the ability you can special summon this card from your hand to zone a Dark Link monster points to, which is really helpful in the deck to be able to just get this card out on your side of the field, which is just a really awesome effect. I then play a single copy of Rocket Recharger. I find that 4 rocket monsters is the best number in this deck to be able to play because it's going to help you get your monsters out on the field without drawing too many rocket monsters in your hand for your cards like Quick Launch to be able to get additional dragons on your side of the field to be able to climb into some really good plays. I then play a single copy of Absolouter Dragon. Absolouter Dragon works with your rocket monsters really well because if you control a rocket monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, then you can add a rocket monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to grab cards like your copy of Rocket Caliber that can special summon itself, which is a great effect. I then play 2 copies of Noctovision Dragon. Noctovision Dragon is a great 2-of that has the ability if a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your side of the field, except during a damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a really good effect to help you get an additional monster on your field to help you link climb. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, you get to draw a card, which is a great effect. I then play a single copy of Destiny Hero Dasher and a single copy of Celestial as well. These are basically here in the deck because you're going to be able to use these to go in for your copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, which is a really awesome boss monster to be able to summon in this deck by just putting 2 monsters on your side of the field to link into your copy of Anaconda and then use its effect to be able to go in for your copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. I'm then playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just a great hand trap overall in the deck to be able to make sure the opponent's not touching the deck while we're going in for all of our plays. I'm then playing 3 copies of Maxi. Maxi is a great hand trap in Master Duel to be able to draw a card every time your opponent special summons a monster, which is just an absolutely crazy effect. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Dragonmaid Changeover. Dragonmaid Changeover is a great one in the deck that is actually the fusion spell for your Dragonmaid monsters. Let you fusion summon a Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And then while this card's in the graveyard, you can target a Dragonmaid monster that you control and add this card to your hand, and if you do, return that monster to your hand, which is a pretty good effect to be able to bounce one of your Dragonmaids off your side of the field back to the hand to be able to grab this card out of the graveyard and make an additional fusion play because you just added your fusion material back to the hand, which is really good along with your fusion spell, only needing usually a high level dragon at that point to go in for a really powerful monster. I'm then playing just a single copy of Hospitality. Hospitality lets us special summon a Dragonmaid monster from our hand or graveyard in defense position, and then you can send a Dragonmaid monster with the same attribute but a different level from your deck to the graveyard, which is a pretty good effect to be able to get the exact card you want onto your side of the field, basically being a searchable monster reborn. We're then playing a single copy of World Legacy Guard Dragon. World Legacy Guard Dragon is basically like a monster reborn that when this card is activated, you can target a level 4 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand or special summon it. And once per turn, you can target a dragon monster that you control and move that monster to another zone that's a main monster zone that's not currently occupied, which is a pretty good effect to be able to use in the deck. I'm then playing a single copy of Boot Sector Launch. Boot Sector Launch is a really good field spell in the deck that all rocket monsters gain 300 attack and defense. And it also has the ability that you get to special summon it to 2 rocket monsters with different names from your hand in defense position, helping you swarm the field just in case you draw into multiple rocket monsters to help you go in for cards like your Hieratic Seal. It also has a really good effect that if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon rocket monsters with different names from your graveyard in defense position up to the difference, which is pretty good to be able to use going second in this deck to be able to just get additional monsters on your side of the field. I'm then playing a single copy of Dragon's Ravine. Dragon's Ravine is a good searchable field spell in the deck that basically works like a Foolish Burial or a Dragon Shrine that you discard a card and then you get to send a dragon from your deck to the graveyard, which is a really good effect. I'm then playing 2 copies of Fusion Destiny in the deck. It's really good to draw into this card because it helps you get your copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer on your side of the field, but you're going to be sending this card to the graveyard off your copy of Anaconda to be able to go in for Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. I'm then playing 2 copies copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is just a great card to stop your opponent's hand traps, so this card is a definite 2-of in the deck. And then 3 copies of Quick Launch. Quick Launch being a crazy powerful, basically E-Telly for your rocket monsters, letting you special summon out a rocket monster from your deck, but it can't attack and you destroy it during the end phase, which is totally fine because it's just going to get you additional monsters on your side of the field to be able to go in for all sorts of powerful link monsters. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, I'm just going to be playing a few traps in this build, and it's going to be 3 copies of Dragonmaid Tidying. Dragonmaid Tidying is a really powerful card that lets you target a dragon monster that you control and a card that your opponent controls, or in their graveyard, and return them back to the hand. And you can also banish this card from the graveyard to special summon out a Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard, basically working like an additional copy of your Hospitality, which is a really good effect to be able to use in this deck. But you have to return to the hand during the end phase, which is totally fine for this particular deck, and you can only use 1 effect of this card per turn and only once that turn, which is totally fine because this card is searchable off your copy of your Chamber Dragonmaid, which is a great card to be able to use with this card's effect. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Dragonmaid Shio. Shio is a really powerful card in the deck, and the card that you're going to be going into the majority of the time in this extra deck first, because this card is crazy powerful. It has the ability to just takes a Dragonmaid monster plus a level 5 or higher dragon monster, which is why we play the copies of Noctovision Dragon in the deck, Abzorrouter, and those cards that really help get additional high-level dragon monsters into your hand so that you can summon out this card. And this card has the ability that during each standby phase, you can special summon out a level 9 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard, which is an extremely powerful effect because all of your main deck Dragonmaid monsters, when they're summoned by normal summon or special summon, will go off, which is really, really good. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Also, after that, where you return this card to your extra deck, and if you do special summon out a copy of House Dragonmaid, which is really cool because we play this card as a 2-of in this deck. Now this card is a really good 2-of in the deck and super easy to summon because it just takes a Dragonmaid plus any dragon monster to actually summon out your copy of House Dragonmaid, with a really good effect that once per turn, during the standby phase, you can target 1 other Dragonmaid monster that you control and special summon out a Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position whose level is 1 level higher or 1 level lower than it. And then when another face-up dragon monster you control returns to your hand, then you get to target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer because it's super easy to summon out with your copy of Fusion Destiny and your copy of Anaconda. So this card is a definite 1-of in this deck. I'm then playing a single copy of Boral Sword Dragon because it's easy to OTK the opponent and it's just an overall fantastic card. I'm then playing a single copy of Dragoonity Knight Romulus because it searches Dragon's Ravine from the deck to the hand. 1 copy of Anaconda because Anaconda wants Buns Hunt, and it will actually summon out your copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, which is really, really nice. I then play 2 copies of Heraldic Seal. Heraldic Seal is actually included in the structure deck, which is really awesome to be able to just pick up the structure deck and be able to play Dragonmaid. But this card basically bounces cards off your opponent's field while also summoning out dragon monsters from the deck, which is really cool. I then play just a single copy of Striker Dragon. I only feel like you need a single copy of this card anyways because it has the ability that if it's link summoned, you get to add a Boot Sector Launch from your deck to your hand, which is a really good effect, but you really only need to add it from deck to hand 1 time. Then play a single copy of Guard Dragon Pisty. Pisty is a good 1-of in the deck to be able to use with World Legacy Guard Dragon to shift its position and then special summon out a dragon monster to your side of the field to a zone that 2 dragon monster link monsters point to, which is a pretty good effect. I then play a single copy of Arc Rebellion because it can get absolutely massive in the deck and it's super easy to summon off the effect of your copy of Raiders Knight, and it'll actually turn off the entire field, which is really, really good. Now the Raiders Knight does require 2 dark level 4 monsters to be able to make it, but that's super easy to do in this deck with all the rocket monsters and your Chamber Dragonmaid in this deck. And then play a single copy of Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage Dragon is just a great card to be able to summon to the field with all of these different link monsters to be able to make a really powerful monster that is a walking negate. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a super fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Dragonmaid, you definitely should give it a try in Master Duel because this deck is super powerful and it's actually really budget to be able to pick up because you can just pick up 3 of the structure deck for about 1,500 gems, which is really easy to be able to do. And then you can just pick up the other staple cards that you're playing in this build. So That's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.